guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this episode we're going to be doing FX forecasting. If you want to see more of this, make sure you thumbs up, comment and subscribe. We're going to be trying to put out our FX forecast at the start of every week to give you guys a little bit of a head start of what we're looking at as an overview for the coming week. We've also decided, out of all of the traders, live account traders that we have at Samuel & Co Trading, that we're going to be doing Trade of the Week as well, where we'll be showing you some of the traders and how they've done, and trying to pick out the best overall trade, which was Elliot's kind of task this week to do.
Cheers.
So I'm gonna pass over to
only task of the week, was it?
Well, it's not the only task of the week, but it was his task. It was your task to find one.
So
of the
basically, if
best
it's a trade, it's my fault. Yeah, that's what you're saying. They're covering yourself. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So we're gonna obviously go on to the trade of the week. So handing over to Elliot on this one.
Well, we've got over 200 live traders at Samuel & Co Trading at the moment. So picking one trade or one trader is quite difficult. Just going to put that out there. But no, this guy, so Nazir, I think this trade, so we've got 4 trades on the chart here, all on cable, all shorts, and I think these were taken sort of last week. So week before last now, isn't it?
Yeah, 4th,
Yeah.
5th. It says 4th to the 8th September.
Anyway, so Nazir caught the massive short that we saw on cable last week.
Nice.
So just as a recap, cable went up to about 1.35, heavily rejected all the way back down to about 1.28. So a nice 700 pip move, and Nazir caught 4 trades on the way down. So you can see here on the chart, the first trade top left, short for around 60 pips or 50 pips, with the profit down here $300. And then so I believe that was on the Friday. And then on the Monday morning, he took another trade again for about 50 pips, 55 pips. And then it just kept setting off, and he just kept shorting it and shorting it. He got out a bit early on this trade here.
Yeah, he could have picked up a bit more.
This is on the hour chart, and I believe he was trading on the 15 minutes, but to fit in all the trades, we put it onto the hourly. So we may have seen a bit of retracement here on the 15 minute that caused him to close out. But yeah, lovely move here, lovely trades, all for, over $1,000 profit. Just showing that, when you catch a move, how you can just maximise your profits from that. So a decent one really there.
Yeah. How long's Nazir been a trader at Samuel & Co?
So I think he's been around for about 6-7 months.
Nice.
And this month he's actually put in a 8% withdrawal request. So really good. I think that's his 4th withdrawal in total. So he's been profitable about 4 out of 7 months.
Nice.
Off the top of my head. So yeah, good going, well done.
Yeah, nice. So we're going to carry on trying to bring Trade of the Week to you guys, so you can see what some of the traders that are doing with Samuel & Co, and also those that are in the community chat. If we find any good trades of the weeks to share with you, give you a bit of an insight into what our community is up to, we're going to be doing it. So we're going to be moving on to FX forecasting and giving you an overlook of what we plan on potentially happening next week. However, as you can imagine, we are recording this on Friday. It goes out on a Monday. Things can happen in between now knowing it's Friday morning. So we've done our very best. Let's see what we've got in the mix for you guys and where we see the markets going. So starting off, this is my lovely technical analysis here. You can see my lovely straight lines. So we're looking at euro dollar on the daily. And I'm quite regimental with my technical analysis. As you can see, there's literally one line on the chart. That's the major support level. The trend is currently up on the euro dollar. So rather than trying to predict on where the market's going, I stick with what is. And if I did stick with what is, you can see that that's pretty much been an uptrend since all the way down from 15th of May. So, if you follow the simple analysis of what it's presenting, we would have been looking for buy trades all the way since 15th of May. And at this moment in time, although the moving averages have come pretty close together, we are still looking for buy trades. So that is my overall analysis for the week of looking at buys. I'm now going to jump down to a smaller time frame, a time frame that I trade frequently, which is the 15 minutes, to give you what my overall outlook of what I'll be looking for before entering into the markets this coming week. Lovely line, as you can see over the last sort of few days. The market has been pretty range bound, which is that sort of consolidation that we saw on the daily time frame there. However, if we are expecting this to make a leg higher again and move to the upside, as you can see, it's been a pretty choppy market. We are expecting, a higher low to form, eventually then taking out the most recent highs here and pushing up higher, coming down, retesting that level before carrying on up for the rest of the week. That is the overall plan. As we can see, if we look at the daily time frame again, we are actually really high in regards to the amount of buying capacity that has come into play since May, and if we are to see this lower support level broken, we will start looking for potential short positions, but until then we are remaining with our long bias so far.
Quite a strong rejection here.
Yeah.
Was that yesterday?
Yeah.
So on Thursday or Wednesday that would have been?
Thursday.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. The range is really clear range, isn't it, there?
Yeah.
Really respecting the bottom support and then, running back up.
Yeah, it's about 1.175. It looks like the level
about
that's
1.19, isn't it?
Yeah. So, we're going to expect some choppy behaviour coming into the euro dollar until we kind of see either a clear decision to carry on moving this rally to the upside. We could literally be seeing what we've seen previously, where we saw this. We saw a bit of a pause before eventually we saw the market carry on moving higher, and we're just going to carry on with that forecast of that's what we think is going to be happening for the remainder of the week, until this level is broken. And again, I don't think my bias personally would change to shorts until that level is broken. So, overall long bias on euro dollar. That's the sort of intraday motion that I expect to do. Let's see if it pans out in next week's episode. So moving on, unless you've got anything else you'd like to add to euro dollar, pound dollar, I've done a couple of lines there, a couple of options of what I plan on seeing happen. We've got some really interesting levels there that we can see that price has respected. We rallied all the way up to the highs there of about 1.35, is it?
Yeah.
About 1.35 before we saw a heavy sell-off, and that was mainly due to a lot of the news that was coming out about a potential of a hard Brexit, negotiations again breaking down further, so on and so forth. Elliot will add a little bit more to the fundamental side in a little bit. But yeah, I put a couple of options here because, again, we have now seen a downwards move in pound dollar or sterling, and I expect this to carry on moving to the downside. However, as you can see, cable does move quite choppy, so we could see price rally back up to that mid level there of it's about 1.32. We could see price rally back up to before we then see price coming down, or we could just see a breakdown in price from where we currently are. Either way, we are looking for shorts in the market on pound against the US dollar for now, which is probably quite a first for me, actually, knowing that euro dollar is a long bias and pound dollar is a short bias. But there's a lot of things that's affecting the pound at the moment that's not affecting, I suppose, the EU so much, I suppose. Yeah,
I think with we'll touch on in a minute, the Bank of England
negative rates.
Seriously considering negative interest rates, and potentially more QE coming in November. I think that's just, traders are sort of pricing in a bit more pound weakness, and obviously hard Brexit as well.
Yeah,
it's getting.
Let's have a
closer.
Let's have a look at pound dollar on the smaller time frame. As you can see here, we kind of got this sort of resistance level that's keeping the price down at the moment since around 9th of September, which is, I think it's a 1.3 level. So price has been rejecting the 1.3 level multiple times there, and I expect it to either go back up, test the 1.3, and then slowly carry on its move to the downside. This could be just technically driven, just via the fact that we are seeing price being held down by 1.3, and also the continuation of negative news that's coming out as we go on through the week. So my bias there is short on pound US dollar, waiting obviously for the intraday trend to actually change to the downside there, hopefully after seeing again another rejection off of 1.3. Anything you'd want to add on to that analysis, Elliot?
I'm in agreement, to be honest. I'm pretty short pound. Unless it breaks back through that 1.3, and then I think it's a waiting game back up to that previous 1.32 level Sam mentioned. But I can only see this going short unless we have, I don't know, something significant coming out of Brexit negotiations. I just don't see anything positive for the pound at the moment.
Yeah, we had a bit of an upset actually yesterday, didn't we? Joe Biden came out and said that he would be unsure about a trade deal with the UK and something along those lines.
Yeah, because they're worried about the peace with Ireland, Northern Ireland. So the obviously what Boris Johnson is trying to get through Parliament at the moment, with regards to breaking the law. It's not looking great for the UK at the moment on many fronts. Furlough's coming to an end.
Yeah.
Brexit's only literally around the corner now. And it's
we've got so much about pound on the fundamental side. Obviously, we've got the bounce back loans. They have to start repaid back in March coming into next year. We've obviously got Brexit end of January, furlough ending end of November. You've got the stamp duty ending in March. There's a lot of things that are coming into play here that could be. You've got unemployment quite high as well. And I think when I was doing the figures last night, I think it was something like 9.6 million people are furloughed in the UK. So it'd be interesting to see how many of those actually become unemployed once the furlough scheme ends, and could be as high as probably 50%. You don't know how high the furlough could be. And that'd be looking at over 4 million people, which is a ridiculous amount. That's it's probably around 5% of the population in the UK. So we could be in a bad position. But all of this is adding weighting to the downside on the pound analysis that we've been looking at. Let's not waste any further time. Let's move on to US dollar against the Japanese yen. Wow, it's been absolutely falling off a cliff lately. You can see these levels over here just creating lower highs here on the technicals, on the dailies, moving down. And now we're testing this long level of support that's been going all the way back till roughly July 2019. And I don't really expect this to contain any strength. I think this will just carry on and dwindle down and potentially break through that level, testing it, and then carry on its selling. I don't think much is going to change until we get through the November elections.
Yeah, I mean 104 seems quite a key level, doesn't it? Even if you go further back than where this chart does.
Yeah.
The obviously only significant break is in when coronavirus came out, quickly rebounded. I think if we break this 104 level, we're going to see quite a sharp movement down. Thing is, dollar has been selling off, for a few months now. I think it's down about. We'll come on to it a bit more detail, but it's down about 10% over the last few months. Is that going to continue? I guess that's the key question, really. But if it does, then I can see quite a significant break coming on dollar yen.
Yeah, so we've got to be watching that 104 level, see what happens over the next coming week. It's an interesting level to be watching. So US dollar yen, we're not going to be looking at the smaller time frame. We are seeing nice moves downwards on the smaller time frames, but we're going to be watching that 104 level. Again, we are looking at short sell positions throughout, okay? So we're going to move on now and move on to indices. Over to Elliot.
Yeah, so going to start off with Nasdaq, obviously the tech US index, top tech 100 companies. So I've got this on the hourly chart here, so we can go back to around July. Through August we saw this really strong rally, all the way up to around 12,400. That was just pretty much a straight up rocket. As we saw, a lot of tech stocks were just flying. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Tesla were all, making new highs and obviously dragging up the Nasdaq with it. Since those highs, we saw quite a sharp sell-off, and I've highlighted sort of a key support level I've seen, which is around the 11,000 level. So we've had previous resistance back in July. You can see a couple of touches there. And then just as it was about to make that large move up, it tested it, bounced off it, and just ran like a rocket. Since that large sell-off, we've seen sort of 3 touches, the most recent being yesterday. Just a continuation. It's sort of starting to consolidate. becoming a bit range bound between that 11,000 and the 11,500 level. So just looking for buys off that level. At the moment, I'm not going to be shorting this unless we break that level. If we do break that level and then come back to retest it and see, a close of sort of rejection of that level, then I'll be looking for shorts. At the moment, I'm still long on this, so yeah, just taking up buys off the hourly, off the 11,000 level, targeting around 11,500, and pretty much closing when we see rejections. So yeah, that's sort of Nasdaq. Dow Jones, similar sort of story. I'm a bit more wary of Dow Jones at the moment just because it's so choppy. Pretty much has been since the start of September, since we saw that sell-off. Again, you'll notice all the indices are going to be heavily correlated. However, the Nasdaq has had just a better year so far, just because of tech just going flying. So yeah, looking at Dow Jones 30, again, we're seeing a bit of consolidation. It's starting to look a bit more bearish to me. There's still some uncertainty. COVID cases are starting to rise again. The US is still agreeing their bailout deal. However, if they do agree that deal, and if they do get a good deal through, I definitely want to be long. I think we'll see a strong rally if that deal gets approved. So yeah, again, I'm looking more Nasdaq. I'm favouring more Nasdaq trades than Dow just because of the choppy nature of the moment of Dow. It's becoming a bit unpredictable. You could be in a great trade and then an hour later you can just be getting wiped out. So a bit more cautious when it comes to trading Dow at the moment and more looking towards the Nasdaq.
Yeah, so a bit of caution there on the Dow Jones for the coming week. More focus on the Nasdaq.
So now we're just going to look a bit at fundamentals, things to bear in mind, things that have happened this week, and then looking a bit going forward, things that are coming up in the next week or month. So we've had some big decisions this week. So we had the Fed on, I can't think what day, Wednesday, wasn't it? It was on Wednesday. Yeah, Fed on Wednesday, Bank of England yesterday. So nothing surprising came out of the Fed. They just reiterated, they're allowing for inflation to overshoot short term and targeting that 2% over a longer term, which means they're basically going to allow interest rates to remain near zero for 3 years, which again is why the dollar is been very weak, or one of the reasons. However, the market wasn't happy, equities especially, that they didn't announce any sort of more QE, any fresh stimulus. I think the market was hoping for something like that along the lines from the Fed. So yeah, I think we're not going to see any real dollar strength based on that anytime soon. Yeah. Bank of England, so moving over to UK.
Dun, dun.
Again, a lot of talk now about negative interest rates, which hasn't been done before in the UK.
I was talking to some senior bankers, and they were saying that their banking systems aren't actually built to be able to handle negative interest rates, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, they're quite old, the banking systems in the UK, aren't they? Still like mainframe, a lot of it. Anyway, but I think traders are now expecting some more QE from Bank of England. They kept it the same this most recent meeting at 345 billion, but I think the bets now traders are seeing, obviously when furlough scheme comes to an end, they're expecting the Bank of England to step in and provide more stimulus to the UK economy. Obviously that expectation's there already, so it might be slightly priced in the pound. However, I think if it does become a reality, depending on the build up to November, what sort of traders are seeing and thinking is going to happen, we may just see more pound weakness coming into that. This morning we saw UK retail sales are increased, which is good news, but I think this is partially been sort of inflated by the help out to eat out thing. So which has come to an end. Obviously furlough's coming to an end, so people are going to be probably reining in their spending. Cases of COVID in the UK are at highs from May. We're seeing more restrictions.
What was that stat you sent me the other day? It was like it's up 168% cases on week or something like that.
Yeah, well, that was it. Yeah.
Well, it was it was roughly 168%. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I think it might be 166, but no. So negatives coming out of UK. Sorry, trying to get this wrapped up quickly. So we've got COVID cases back on the rise. Unemployment is expected to surge, as we said, when furlough scheme ends next month, end of October, I believe it is. And then we've got Brexit. So, there's still no deal on the table with the EU and Britain. Is that going to change? I mean, they're leaving it late. Part of me thinks, there's got to be something. Either an extension or something's got to come. But it's.
Who knows? Who knows? So hard Brexit, more and more likely. It's looking bad on pound at this moment
Basically,
in time.
the UK is
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
Oh,
okay,
bloody
so looking
hell.
forward to next week.
Yeah,
right, we've got a few speeches coming out. Nothing too major that I can see. I don't think their rhetoric's going to change from the main meetings last week. I think it's going to be more same. Big things I'm looking out for, like I said, the bailout. If there's something to be agreed, the 2.2 trillion is being proposed by the Democrats. Trump saying it's not realistic. He's looking more towards 1.5 trillion, I believe. Anyway, I expect them to come to some sort of agreement. And then just looking at the US dollar, it's been absolutely, been getting caned. Net future bets from dollar total 32.6 billion, which is closest to the highest in a decade. So lots of traders are short on US dollar. One interesting stat I came across was at the bottom here. Since 1980, 7 out of 10 times in election years, the US dollar has been up average, I think it's 2.5% between September and December. So with, Biden just keeps messing up, doesn't he? His speeches, you were saying about one this morning, weren't you?
Yeah, he forgot what mailbox was.
So obviously he's got the lead in the polls at the moment. If that tightens and if that sort of disappears, we could see maybe, traders' flight to sort of safe haven as a dollar, maybe. We may see a short squeeze on all those shorts at the moment. Something to look out for. I can't see it happening at the moment, especially with what the Fed's been saying. May see some sort of bounce in the dollar. I can't see it just keep going straight down, but at the moment I think, weakness to continue. So just a few things we're looking out for.
Next week.
Lots going on, lots has happened. Lots to be, wary of.
It's a hard time to trade at the moment, guys. So be cautious. There's a lot of stuff coming out in the markets, and it's a lot of information to take into account.
Unprecedented times.
It is unprecedented times. Both politically, economically, and also. In the UK, the UK is pretty roasted. So if you really like the idea of us doing FX forecasting, giving you your weekly information of what we're looking out for, then make sure you get in the comments, say that you want more of this, and we'll be sure to deliver. Make sure you thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. And whilst I'm going to check out right now, I'm going to leave this clip of Joe Biden not knowing what a mailbox is. Take care, everyone.
And so he's done every single thing, including having a postmaster general who still doesn't know who dismantled those machines, who ordered picking up those places to mail your ballots. I mean, it just.